Okay, so today what I want to do, I'll go here. Let me open my README. Okay, I go here. So today, I think Satya, you asked for XPaths, detail on XPaths. So I think let's start with XPath today, so that we don't lose on it. Last time we did a lot of things, but we then it was almost over, so I couldn't cover this part. So I'll start with XPaths today. Okay, let me give
Okay.
you a brief understanding of it. By the way, the project which you are seeing right now is what we call as multi-module project
Mm-hmm.
in Maven. I'm not sure if you know this already, but here what you do is you can have multiple modules within the same Maven project. You will have one parent form, something like this, where you
Okay.
have mentioned these two modules, and then you can manage multiple projects with their own independent pom.xml files.
Okay.
You don't need to do that. I have done this because I told you, right? I need to manage two projects. This I use during sessions, and this is what I do to prove the concept before I explain them in the session. So this folder will always have the latest code which always would work in a designed in a right way. This one is more of experimentation during sessions. Okay, so
Okay.
you always refer to this, but when you go and practice, you don't have to go create multi-module projects. I mean, you can, but you don't really need to at this point of time.
Okay.
Okay, so don't get confused like why I have so many POM files. I have one POM file here, and then I have one pom.xml file here, and then I have one pom.xml file here. So basically three pom.xml file I have.
Okay.
This usually is a Maven concept, which is called as multi-module project. I don't need multi-module project. Even most often in test automation, you don't need multi-module projects. But if you do need to do that, then this is how you do it. Okay, so I'm not going into detail of it, how to create it. It's not that difficult. It's quite easy, but let me just jump
But
into
is
the, yeah.
pom.xml required for each model, Akash here?
No, so pom.xml file is for each module. Yes. So this is the parent pom. In parent pom, you say packaging as pom dot something like in packaging, you say pom. In the modules, you write the name of the module. So code which just works is this module. During
Okay.
session is this module. Okay. And you don't have to do it manually. All you have to do is to go here, file, create a new project. And in the project, you create a simple project. And then once the project is created, then you can just write here, right click, add and module. When you say
Oh,
module, then it will start creating all the things for you. You don't have to do everything on your own. It just you need to understand the concept that pom.xml is a parent pom, and then you have child poms, and whatever you mention in this will automatically come here. So whatever,
okay.
for example, I need to have this dependency at both the places for both the modules. I will just mention it outside, that is in the parent pom, and it will automatically be here, pom.xml. It will
Okay.
automatically come here. Like you won't see it, but it will be inherited. So there are
Okay.
certain concepts of multi-module. Maybe I'll show that towards the end then, if you are
Okay.
interested to know how this works. Okay,
Sure.
if time permits, because I have quite a lot of topics which I want to talk about. So XPath around this and extend the code and a lot of things. Anyway, let me start with the XPath. Okay, so first I will go and show what I have here. Okay, so I have a runner file, something like this. Then I have a page object model file. This is something which I created over this week for the demonstration purposes. But I have the whole all working code here. Then I have context, scenario context. It has certain methods. I have core, which is browser factory. Then I have some step definition files, which where I'm using this dependency injection concept of Pico container. The injecting scenario context object here. Scenario context object is this one where I have all these methods already created for me. Primarily something to do with driver and the properties. So these two is what I have placed inside the scenario context object, which I am going to be injecting in all of my step definition files. And the way to do that is using dependency injection library called as Pico container, which will automatically inject. The moment I put this into the constructor, I don't have to mention anything else. It will automatically do it for me. Okay, but there, if I go to page object model file, you see something like this. So page object model file looks like you have to mention the driver first, then you mention the the locators, and then you have to have a constructor of that page object model file. where you have to not inject, rather, you have to pass this driver object, and this driver object will then get saved here. So this is the typical structure. No matter what kind of page of the model file pattern you are using, you will always find something like this. The the driver declaration, the driver initialization from the constructor, and then you will have a locators. Okay, and then you will have methods which you want to if you wish you can keep it here, you want to keep it somewhere else, fine, but traditionally this is what the skeleton of the structure, skeleton of the page of the model file. Now what you seeing here right now is locators, but these locators are written in a XPath manner. They are not written in with the object, rather I have used the mechanism of placing my locators as strings. So I've declared them as strings and I place the XPaths here. These XPaths is what I'm passing here. Now let's start with the XPath first. Uh, do you understand? I just want to understand your knowledge of it. Do you know like what is this, or I should cover this in bit more
No,
detail?
not required. Not required.
Not required.
Not
Okay. Okay. So let me go and open the. Let me open the Amazon.in. Let me explain this from there. Okay. So each of the element which you have here on this website, right, is an web element in terms of Selenium, right? But in terms of how the whole HTML DOM perceives it, it's separate elements, different elements which you have here. Now each element has special things, that is its attribute and its text, or what it is composed of. So if I go here into this, let's say I come here, this is the element, its class is input, so input is its class, and these are its attributes. So type is attribute, id is attribute, these are, and whatever is placed after equal to in double quotes is its value, right? This much you already know. Now if I want to create the XPath for this, I have two ways. Either I go and create an absolute XPath. Absolute XPath is which I can easily get if I do right click, for example. I go to copy and I click on copy XPath or copy full XPath. So if I click on copy full XPath and I place it here, I get the full XPath of it. XPath is just very similar to a folder structure because its DOM is a tree structure. A tree is that something similar to your folder structure in C drive, then you go to a folder, then you go to a folder, then you go to third folder. So each element has a specified position. Each element in this web page is a DOM, and this HTML is organized in a tree structure, and each of them act as a folder. If I try to give that analogy, and to access them is using single forward slash, right? So HTML body, div1 is an index and header, and div1, div2, div form. They are all, so after the moment I reach here, I have to go and parse and follow the whole path of this input element. So that's called as absolute XPath. If I right click here, click on copy full XPath and paste it here. Oh, sorry, not copy full XPath. If I go back here, copy XPath, it will copy me the relative XPath. Relative XPath is quite useful. It says I don't have to traverse through all the elements of the DOM. Rather, I just have to find it based on its attribute and its attribute value. So whatever you see here, for example, type, ID, value, name, they are all attribute and these are its value. And in XPath to access this attribute, I always use @. So @ is a special type of character which I can use to denote or to refer my attributes. So if I want to say @ID, this is the ID, and then I say the name, the value of it, then it will be able to find it. If I want to write this on my own without copying it, all I would do is double slash means anywhere. Single slash has a meaning that means the parent child. Double slash means I need not go parent child model. I just have to say I want to find this anywhere. What? So then I'll say I want to find an element of type input, a class. Input is a class, the tag name. This is the HTML tag name, also called as class, or a type or a category of that web element, or that element for that matter in HTML terminology. So I want to find an input everywhere. So right now, if I say input, I see 8 elements. Okay, these are all the inputs I have, but I want to get hold of a very specific one, which is where. So I will open the predicate. This segment is called as predicate. Predicate means condition or filter. So I want to filter this input, and I want to say I want to find an input whose ID is, what was the ID by the way? The ID was this, to search text box. Then I am able to bring it down to one match. So now it is able to find it. I can use multiple keywords also using AND keywords. So I can say and I can say the name @name is equal to field keywords. So I can do this. Okay, so now it is able to point to the same element because that's what it is. Okay. Uh, Now there are different use cases for it, like when we use it, when we don't use it. Usually, it always makes sense that you always use the XPath. Okay, I have someone also in the waiting room. Let me add that person. 1 minute. Okay. Hi, Siddharth. Okay,
Hi.
cool. Okay. So I just started with the session, Siddharth. I'm just talking about XPath and how to create the XPath in it from an HTML. That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
Okay, so I'll continue. So in this specific thing, you can use either continue to use XPaths, or if you don't want to use XPath, if it is plain vanilla, then you can, instead of saying by.xpath, you can simply say by.id or something, and then you just mention that so that you don't have to write the whole XPath. There is no better choice for when to use ID, when to use XPath. ID appears to be a bit easy to read. Right? You simply say ID and you mention the ID, it's okay. But XPath is more powerful because you can do many things from it. So usually, what teams sometimes do is they refer to this XPath strategy only. That whatever locators you're going to write, you write in an XPath manner, because whatever you're writing in whatever other form, for example, ID, name, or whatever options you have in WebDriver, instead of using all that, you can use the similar way in XPath itself. So you don't have to use that ID and name and all those things. You can just write your XPaths, and then it will happen. It will find the element for you. So this is one example of XPath. Another one is using the AND keyword, which is also quite similar to this one. I've just used the AND operator. So either this means like find anywhere. Double slash means find anywhere. Double slash means find anywhere a element of type input whose attribute value has a value as go, and whose attribute type has a value of submit. This is what this statement means. If I can go and copy this, come here, place it here, it gives me one element, which is this one, which actually is this. Okay, so if you see, type as submit, value as go, and type as submit, this one. So I've used these properties, two properties, to access this. Okay, just to summarize, double slash means find it anywhere. Input means what class it belongs to. This square bracket means predicate. Predicate in simple language means filter. So I want to provide a filter to all the input elements, and the filter here is that I want to use these two attributes. And whenever I say @, it always means the attribute of that element. So this ID type, they are all attributes, and they have these corresponding values which I'm using to get this element. Okay, now a bit advanced case of XPath. Now that's called as XPath access. If I can quickly go through here, XPath access. Now XPath access is a very, very powerful tool in XPath, and even in Selenium it's very powerful tool. I'm not sure, Satya, have you used this before?
Yes, Akash, in some cases I use that.
Okay, now this is
But
very powerful.
I need full explanation on it actually,
Okay, sure.
how to write
So
that.
this comes in what we call as advanced XPath. Um, because this is a powerful tool to locate an element with respect to some other element. And this situation often arises a lot in Selenium, which is, for example, in this case, if I go here, it is very easy to find this element in right here, as well as it is very easy to find this element when I am going to be writing my test automation project. I just have to use an ID which has two tab search text box, which is very unique. I will not have any other element with this name. ID as this. So if I just simply say I want to look for an ID, look for an input whose ID is two tab search text box, I'm able to do it. But that's not true for all the other elements. Hell lot of elements we have here which doesn't have any unique ID. Okay, so for example, if I go and search for mobile phone, and let's say my test automation script says I want to come search for mobile phone, and then I have to click on this checkbox. Not here, but I want to click here. If I go and inspect this, it looks like input checkbox. Okay, input as checkbox, and I class as a icon checkbox, but there is no specific mention um, of Samsung here. But my goal is to go and click here, or based on what I'm passing. Let's say I want to click on Xiaomi or Nokia, and if I go and hover here, I always get the same values here. So how would I identify if I want to train my script, or I want to do something in my script wherein to go and click on the checkbox next to Nokia, then how would I do that? And that's a challenge, right? If I go and try to write the XPath for this in a vanilla way, I'll say, okay, I want to click on this, or I want to click on this. So I will say / input. Okay, where it go? Yeah, and also input type as checkbox, right? So I say input @type is equal to checkbox. So I'm going to get 150 results here, 150, right? So how would I know, or how would my Selenium know where to click? All of them has the same property. You see, it's being highlighted as well. What else I can do here? Absolutely nothing at this moment with the traditional way of simply writing this. There is no other property which I can write to uniquely identify uniquely identify an element next to Samsung. Okay, and that's where this XPath access comes quite handy, because XPath accesses are the way to uniquely identify this element based on its neighbors or parents or siblings. So basically, if I am able to uniquely identify an element next to it, or element which is the parent of this, then I am able to locate it. So this is called as relativity, relative to something. Okay, so relative to something, trying to find an XPath of an element relative to some other element. That's what XPath access is used for. And it has many functions, existing mechanism and functions which you can use. So child of, ancestors, siblings, I'm not sure there's a full list. Yeah. Ancestor or self, attribute, child, descendant, following sibling, namespace, parent, preceding sibling, self. Right. So these are what is available for you, which you can use to find that specific element. So the moment you find anything which is an ancestor, or it's a child, or a descendant, or a following, or a parent, or a preceding sibling, if you're able to locate that element, then you are also able to locate the relationship between those two elements. Now let's try to find out how we do this. Okay, so once I am here, input type checkbox, I'm not able to find anything. So let's try to find out the next best thing. So this is not the best thing, right? What is the next best thing I can find which can be unique? So if I go here, label, no. Anything here, no. Anything here which is unique, no. Anything here which is unique, no. Anything here which is unique, maybe yes. Because here now I'm started to get some hint of what this checkbox is all about. So this checkbox is all about real me. Okay. Okay. This one maybe I'm able to use, but let's see if I can get something more, much more better. Can I do something here? Not really. Okay, and then I have the next checkbox available here. So I think I will try to come up to this place. If I am able to locate this real me, this one, then maybe I'm able to locate this element which I originally want. Okay, so let's try this. So if I go here, I see li, and I have in li I have area label. I say area label like this is equal to real me like this. So I'm able to identify this, and if you see, I am able to locate this uniquely, one of one. So there's only one element with the type as list and area label as real me. That's good. Now what I have to do is to somehow locate this element from real me. So I am on real me, and then I need to find out where this element is in the DOM, and it's very easy. Okay, so after I come here, I go here, I say span, I say a, then I say div, then I say label, then I say input. Span a div, I'm on a here, and then I have a list. Okay, so now I'm able to locate this, but this is not the method which we are looking for. This is just one of the way by which you can locate this. Okay, I'm not using any of the XPath access mechanism here at this moment. The next thing which you can do is, which I have already written down here, let me copy this, using something else. Okay, it is with the step, copy this. It is done using a span. Let me remove this from here and do me a real me. Okay, now how it is being used, let me explain that. Let me first remove all this. Okay, so now that was one of the way I was able to find it using realme. Now I'm not using this one, I'm using some other way, which is span class realme. Okay, now this is based on a text which is present here. So I'm able to locate a class a size base, a color base with text as realme. Okay, so I'm saying I want to find the element with the class as span, class as this, and the text as realme. So now I have located this. What is the next thing I want to go to? I want to go here, but right now I'm here. If I go and reduce this label and this div, so span and div are sibling, but a different relationship. So span is a preceding sibling of div. So I go here, there's a method called as preceding sibling. This one selects all siblings from the current node. So what I do is I will write something like this. I will write preceding, let me copy paste, preceding sibling. So I want to look for a preceding sibling of type div. So it is able to identify this div for me. So my original unique element was this, but based on this, I have applied a function called as preceding sibling, and this preceding sibling is able to locate my other element, which is this one, div class a checkbox. And now things are easy for me. Now I can simply say div, and then I am there. I'll say label, and I say input, and I say I am going to go to not input. Let's say after label, I want to go to I. So now I'm able to identify this. So this is exactly what I have done here. So I have search category, search box. This is the locator I have. What I want to do is I wanted to click on this Samsung or whatever input I'm giving based on a value coming from outside from my feature file. Okay. So if I go here in my feature file, this is my feature file, search.feature. This is the scenario I'm doing. Search for products. I'm on the home page. I search for mobile phones. Then I select the search category as Samsung. So I wanted to select the search category as Samsung. And once I select the Samsung as a search category, I want to see the list is being filtered with the all the products which are coming as Samsung itself, like this. Okay, and this was important for me because I wanted to click on that link on that checkbox, and I didn't have any unique way of identifying this. So I identified it based on the next best thing, the adjacent keyword, the adjacent element. Okay, let me go and quickly summarize this. If I go back and quickly show this again about this XPath thing, copy, control find, paste, and here I say 1 plus 1 plus. It is able to find this, locate this element, 1 plus. If I write here, let's say Nokia, it is able to identify this Nokia. It's all happening because of this XPath access special function called as preceding sibling. And you can traverse it based on different criteria. You can say parent, you can say descendant, you can say ancestors, based on where you are. So first you need to focus on what you can uniquely find. So I was able to uniquely locate this element, which is this one. And based on this, I can go either up or I can go either down, and you can use different functions for it. I just showed one example of preceding sibling and an actual use case of why you would need this. XPath X is always used for relative purposes. That is, you want to look at an element relative to something. And to do that is make use of these XPath access functions you have. Right now, I've used preceding sibling. So I'm able to locate this and I want to go up. So before I go here, I need to go to its parent first. And how to locate the parent of it? It's the preceding sibling. Preceding sibling means something which is coming before but also is a sibling. So once I come to div here, then it's easy. Then I can traverse bit down with simple class names. Or if required, then I could have done more here based on the requirement. Okay, this is the extent of what I want to talk about in next class. Satya, you have any doubts here?
Akash, where is the parent here? I mean, parent is like Nokia, right? Which
No, if I go back here, okay, so the parent right now here is span class A size base A color. That's the element. The parent of this is A. This is the parent of both of them.
okay. So what we are identifying here, which element, which you
So
are,
I want to go to here. For example, I want to go here. Okay, so I'll search for this element Samsung here. So I'll search for here
okay.
Samsung. So I'm able to locate this one, not this.
Yeah.
I'm able to locate this, but I want to locate this. And I'm
Okay.
not able to because there is no unique value available here. So I'm not able to write an efficient XPath for it. XPath which would be uniquely identifiable. I'm not able to write that. So I will use this rather to locate this.
Okay.
Okay, so the example is if I want to give an analogy, it's always like, for example, there is a person who doesn't have carry a phone number. He don't have a mobile number, right? And it's very hard for me to locate him. I never able to find him because I never can call him directly. So what I do, try to find the next best thing. For example, that person has a friend who always carries a mobile number. So I'm able to locate that person, his friend, and once I locate this person, then I'm able to reach that person, the person which I originally intend to find. So this is this person who doesn't have a mobile phone. I class, let's say I'm not able to uniquely identify it. So I try to find someone near to him whom I can uniquely identify. So in the first example, I told you this one. So I'm able to find its parent, which has a unique value, right? Which is good. So in the first example, I showed how I found this, and then it's very easy. Then I can just traverse back here inside. Next best thing is I try to find like this. So I tried span class A size base color base as Samsung. And from here, I first went to the sibling, which is here, and then I went inside. So once I go here, I have to write this preceding sibling thing, preceding sibling, then two double colons, and then I will write what kind of sibling I want to go to. So I'll say div preceding sibling. So now from here I went here. When I did not write this, I was just here, this one, and from here, the moment I do this preceding sibling, I immediately came here, and then I can come down inside because parent child I can simply use the label and then simply I. Div and then okay, I'm spelling mistake, label and I. So that's the objective of why I was doing this. I wanted to find an element which is difficult to find on its own. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay, all right. So this is about XPath. I am not covering more details, like I'm not covering all the use cases here. I think you got the idea.
Yes.
Um, okay, so these functions can be used based on a situation. What is it which you're able to find? Once you find that, then how to traverse to the place where you want to go. You can use either of these. Either it's a descendant, or it's an ancestor, or it's a sibling. Okay, so this is how you do this, and this is exactly what I've done here. If I go and run this, let me run these test cases. If I go here, okay, I go to run test. I want to run all, so I simply do a run test here. So two scenarios running in parallel because I am using testng and the parallel tag is marked as true. So both the scenarios which I have will go and run in parallel. Okay, it's a concurrent execution which is happening in a multi-threaded environment. Okay, so I have two test cases running, one here, one here, two separate browsers. First one I think is simple mobile phones, and then it selected the Samsung, and results are also coming, and the both are now closed. So I have two scenarios running, and both of them are running. I have logging implemented. I have report being generated. All this I will show, but this is a report which just ran. I go here, open the factor, open in browser, Chrome, and it opened in the next other window I have. So this is what it is, looks like. So I have these test cases, two test cases which ran in a part as a part of one feature. So this is scenario one, and it is also capturing the screenshots and attaching it with the report itself. This is what it did, and this test case, it clicked on that Samsung button, and then yeah, it clicked here, and then it is able to filter it out using this Samsung and all the filters. So it is also taking the screenshot, and this is what something which I wanted to talk about today itself. Okay, I'll move on to the next topic then, Satya. Okay, so this is what I was talking about, XPath access, and I provided some references here which you want to go and read for the some examples. Also, I put here this is example which I just used, preceding sibling. Okay, next thing which I want is the web element example. Okay, but before I show it here, rather I will try to build it in during session module. Let's see what's the state of this. Close all tabs, run test. I have smoke, I have a feature, search dot this, and I'm running a test case here. It has nothing. If I just run this, what happens? Okay, it opens the browser, but that's it. Okay, it has nothing available at the moment. Okay, let's build this very quickly. First thing first, what I need here is if I go to run, it is saying I'm on the home page. It is able to do that. Search for iPhone. No, it is saying pending exception. It means it's not yet implemented. Let's just quickly implement it. So step depths, I have tear down. I have search steps, not done. So it is only able to do this much so far. In the search for string, it is not able to do. So I will go here first, go and create a page object model file. I'll say common, or I'll say search, or let's say homepage objects.java. And in the page object model file, it's quite vanilla. So I always say WebDriver. I'm doing the vanilla implementation of page object model file. So simple WebDriver import. Then I will go and create the constructor, and then I will go and I don't write this here. Okay, so I will simply start writing the locators. The locator which I want to write is I want to search here, right? So I'll go here and use this to tab search text box. I'll say private string, and then search box. And then in the string I will say input at the rate, what was it, id. So I'll say id is equal to this. Okay, instead of this I'll use this rather. Okay, so I have an id now. Then I have to have, and next one, let me just quickly copy, otherwise it will take more time. I'll copy it from the actual working example which I have. So I will go common page objects and I'll copy these three things and paste it here. Oops, what happened? Page object model files here. Search box, I already have it, so I will just remove it. Okay, so I have search box, I have search submit button, and I have product titles. Okay, so this is something which I wanted to show. So I will just mark it as not done at the moment. Okay, and then I will write two methods, which I will again copy. I don't want to do more, spend more time in writing this. Okay, now for logging, I have to implement log4j. Okay, logging here means generating the logs in the console, and the easiest way to do that is use log4j to Lombok annotation at the top, but also make sure, okay, log4j2, but I also make sure that I have that library uh, which is doing the actual logging part. So I have Lombok and I also have the log4j available, and this will be used for the log generation, but it also would require another log4j XML file, which I'll show later. For now, I'm just simply writing log4j2, and then my log statements are available. So I'm simply saying log.info searching for products. This is driver.find element, file.xpath search box, send keys, search submit button dot click. So this search product method is responsible for doing these two things: finding element and performing the operation. So finding element, performing the operation, and then I'm logging this. Okay. Select category is something which I don't need at the moment, because right now my example which I want to show is how will I go and capture all the elements which I have here and implement the step of validation whether the search which I have done is generating the right results. So if I go back to my feature file, my feature file says what? My feature file says I'm on the home page. If I go inside the step definition of it, it is able to navigate to the browser. It is able to invoke the driver, and it is able to navigate to the browser. Next step which I want is then I search for iPhone. If I go inside, this is something which is not yet implemented. Okay, and this is there in the next step definition file. So what I'm going to do, I am going to first go and create a constructor. So I'll say public search steps. Then I will going to go here and say scenario context. Then I'm going to create a scenario context object at the top. And then I'm going to say scenario context is equal to scenario context. Something like this. Okay, so by this step, I have the driver available here as well. Next thing which I will do right now, I may not need driver here. What I need is the object of home page. Okay, so if I go here and I go create another one, so home page object, I say home page object is equal to new and doing this. So I am now initializing my page object model file with the driver. So scenario context has the driver. Remember, I have a scenario context which has the driver. And I have this search step definition file. I have created my page object model. And the page object model I will initialize with the parameter of the web driver. Because my home page object requires a web driver during initialization step itself. So I'm here search step defs and I'm creating home page object and I'm creating the object and passing the web driver here. So now I can now use my page object model file. How? So I come here, click this. When I say dot, I get search product and I can mention what product I want to find. So I'd say product name as a variable and place it here. So now it will be able to search the product for me. What's there in the search product? In the search product, I am doing send keys and I am doing the submit button click. Okay. Now let's run this. Let me see if it will be stopped. Page context. Oh, comma steps. Okay, start with it. Fine. So I will just go here and run it. Browser is open, it is going and able to search for iPhone and all the iPhones are coming here. Okay, but it is still failing because it is saying you haven't implemented the third step, which is I should see the search results. This I haven't implemented yet. Now I have to want to implement this one. How will I go and implement it? What I want to do is once I search for iPhone, all the elements which are coming here should contain Apple or should contain iPhone. Only then I can validate that the search functionality of this website is working correctly. Now what I need to do this, I need to capture all the text from various elements here. So there are like how many elements we have? Let's see. If I go click on inspect here, I go and search for this. I get span class A size medium A color base at text normal and the text of it. Okay, what I'll do is I will go here and write an XPath for it. So I will say XPath this and I will use the class at the rate class is equal to value and I'm getting 18 products. But here I am not interested in uniqueness. I want to have a uniqueness of a group. Group means I want to get all those 18 objects. So once I get all of these 18 objects, I can fetch the text of it and then I can validate whether each of that text contains the keyword iPhone so that I validate that yes, this all belongs to the same category. And this I need because I want to implement this step. I should see the search results. To validate this, I need to do something. So I go back to home page objects and I add this as a okay. So either I use this or I use this. I can use any of this. Either I use this or I can use this keyword also. Data CY title recipe, which I think is this one. Where I pick this. I don't know. I just focus on this one. So if I'm able to get hold of this, that's also enough for me. Okay. So rather I go here and I paste this keyword, sorry, this locator. So this is product titles. What I'll do next is I will go and write the method public void validate all the keywords, all the products are displayed. Okay, remove all this. Okay, now this is my search string. Search string is what I am passing from outside. What I'll do next is I will create a list of web elements. Okay, I say list of web elements is equal to driver dot find elements by dot xpath. The xpath here in this case is search submit button. No, sorry, product titles, and this is by dot xpath, product titles by dot xpath. Okay, and then stop. So I am going to get a list of web elements. Why this is not coming? Sorry, list of web elements, import class, list, import class. Okay, what this statement says? Its statement says return all the elements. Understand the difference? Here it's web element, here it's web elements. When I use find elements, it returns me the list of all the elements which is it is able to find with that matching XPath. And right now I just showed you that this XPath is giving me 18 results. So when I say find elements using this XPath, it is going to return me the list of all the elements which I have here. So around 18 XPaths. Okay. To prove this, let me do a for loop. So I'll say for loop list of web elements, and then all I would do is I will simply say list of elements dot get something like this, and I will print it. Get text. I will use system all out dot println on this. What it will do once I run this now, it's going to go fetch all the elements and then print the text of all. If I go run this, let's see. Search elements came and now okay, it failed. uh Pending. Why? Oh, sorry, I need to put that in the search step also. Sorry. So I go here, home page, validate search results. Now I run this again. Now see, okay, failed again, but do I have something? No. Unable to locate element with the XPath, expression size medium. Uh, Unable to locate the element with XPath size medium, a color. Okay, it's not able to find it. Maybe the reason I know is the synchronization, which maybe we talk about a bit later. But for now, I just mark it as thread.sleep. Maybe it will wait for 3 seconds before it try to locate this. This is the synchronization issue in Selenium. Not an issue, it is just a situation, and then there is a way to handle it. Right now, I'm putting in hard sleep statement. Let's see if it works this time. No. Okay. Let me try to change the XPath then. I think the XPath which I'm using is not working. What's the error I'm getting here? Okay. XPath is not it's not valid expression, it's saying. Oh my god, yes. My mistake. It's not valid, of course. It doesn't look valid. The expression is supposed to be this one. This is the expression I need to put. I just put the value here. It was supposed to be this. Now let's run it again. Please, please, please work this time. It worked this time. So you see it has printed all the elements which I had there, the text of all of it. And all I need to do is to make this work is to validate each of them, each of the text which I'm fetching contains the iPhone. If I am able to do that, then my test case will be complete. So let's quickly do that. So I am here. I have to go inside this method. Now instead of doing system.println, I can also do something. So I can say if, or I can say assert. Assertion dot assert that. Assertion assert dot is a assert j library. Now here I can say if list of element dot get I dot get text is equal to, or I can simply say equal to search string. Can I say search equal to search string here? Or let me give you a basic one. I think this may confuse you. I simply say if list of element dot get text dot contains search string. My GitHub Copilot generates a lot of code. I simply say assertions dot assert that true is true. That means it will pass. If not, else assertions dot fail, search is not successful. Oh, I don't want all this. Okay, why I have a failure here, else without if, huh? Okay, what did I do? Okay, huh. So what this logic will do, it will run for, and it will say I'm going through all the elements which I found, and I'm able to validate that for each element the text contains search string. If it contains search string, I will say assertion, assert true, and I will continue the loop. And the moment there is a mismatch, it will not come here, it will go here, and it will fail the test case. It will say search not successful. This product is not matching in the list of products. Okay, and if I run this, test case okay, test case failed. Search is not successful. This product is not matching in the list of products. Why? Okay, the reason could be I am not using. Let me use lowercase first of all, and let me see what I'm passing here. iPhone, yeah, it was this one. Let's run this again. Okay, failed again. I don't know. This product is not matching in the list of products. Okay, when something of this sort happens, let me also use this opportunity to tell you how to debug the program. So I don't know what's wrong, maybe some small mistake here and there, but I'm not yet sure why it's failing. So what I'll do is I'll rather put a breakpoint. Now breakpoint, what it does is the moment I put a breakpoint and run this in a debug mode, it will come here and stop. And then I can investigate what's wrong. So now instead of running, put a debug point like this, and instead of running from here, run on debugger. I click on debug. So it will run as it is until it reaches a breakpoint. So let's see. Driver invoked. Okay, now it has come here. Now, once I'm here, I can see what's happening. So what is list of element? It's saying size as 18. I expand this. I expand this. This is where it is able to find all the elements which I have, and I can go into detail here, but let's not go inside. Okay, next thing is, so it is able to find this. Let's see what's happening. If I go and put a breakpoint here and click on resume here, resume, it comes here, and then I can see why this condition is not matching. What is the search string I have? iPhone. What is the list I am getting here? It is Apple iPhone 15. Okay, and then I say contains, and search string is iPhone. Oh, okay, I got it. So if I go and check the whole string here, it's going to give me the false result. Why? Because this part of the string is giving me all in lowercase, but search string which I am passing is iPhone capital. So it is not matching. So this is how I know I did not do it right. Okay, how to fix this? I stop this, and I want to compare a lowercase with the lowercase itself, right? So I'll also convert this into lowercase. So I want to compare what's getting in the lowercase. I'm converting it all, and then I'm validating the contains, and I'm validating the lowercase itself from there. Okay, and then I go and run this. I hope this works this time. Ah, it
If
works.
we
This time
if
it
we, if
worked.
we if we remove lowercase in both, then dot get text dot contains
Yes.
such.
So it removes lowercase from, I mean, converts the whole string into lowercase, and it converts the whole thing into lowercase, and then it compares. Because I
No,
want to compare app.
what if we remove lowercase in both?
No,
Like
sorry, can you repeat that?
what if we remove lowercase in both
Both the
inside the?
places.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Yes, then the problem is what I'm passing from outside is iPhone. So either I pass the right string, then also it's okay. Then also it should work because here it's iPhone, right? Here it's iPhone. So then you're right. If I want to make sure that I pass exactly what it is, then I can do, and I don't need to use lowercase. But then I am making my test bit brittle because I want to give it tolerance. I want to give my test case tolerance. So if someone passes iPhone, he also means the same. That is, it's an iPhone, and I want to make sure
Okay.
that my test accepts those values. So even though someone
Okay.
is making a mistake here, he means iPhone, but he's not writing iPhone, he's writing iPhone. And if he does that, my test case will start failing, even though it's not an application failure. So I sometimes when I write my test cases, I need to give it enough fault tolerance. I want to tolerate these small mistakes which the test case writer is making. So if I do that lowercase thing, my test case will work for this as well as my test case will work for this also. Okay, and that's the reason I did this lowercase thing to give more tolerance to it. So right now I've removed that part, and if I run this now, it will still work because now it is able to match this with this, and everything will work as it is. But it's a bit less tolerant of the mistake of capital I and capital E. So in test automation, it makes sense to when you compare, you add these kind of tolerance as well, and you do that by converting first both the strings which you're comparing in lowercase, and then comparing. So now it worked also, even though I don't have the lowercase thing mentioned anywhere. Okay, I think I am running out of time. I have to go somewhere else, to something else. So I want to stop it here itself. I open, of course, for questions, but this is what we have done today. We have done the XPath part, and we have done this one, which I wanted to demonstrate. I think next one I will try to focus on extend report, bit more on logging, and then the screenshot capturing, which by the way I've already done. I'm done with all these things in this project code, which just works. Whatever marked as green, whatever marked as blue, I've already done it here. It just I need to demonstrate them. The one which is marked as pending is something which I have not yet implemented, but I plan to do. So in the next session, I will focus on yet to demonstrate as well as I will try to complete these few pending things also. My ultimate goal is that I complete the one marked as red and then eventually also show you something with the pipeline. So how you integrate this test automation pack with the pipeline using GitLab or GitHub, I'll choose which tool I can use and I'll demonstrate that also. So by the way, the extent of these sessions which we are currently doing is to mark all of them, all the red ones as green within a month or month and a half. So that's the objective. And as I said, this will really be community driven. So if you think you need something which I'm not covering, please let me know. I'll add that into this list and then we'll do that also. For now, this is something which I originally planned, but you can add into the list. And once this is done, we'll jump onto the DevOps topics like pipelines and this and that. Okay, questions?
No, I have no
Yes,
question.
I have a note.
Yeah, sorry, Raghav?
Uh, so we have run two test cases in parallel mode, right?
Yes, yes.
So the logs will be different, no? If you run in parallel mode.
So see, for example, I'm showing this in code which just works. Okay, here I have two test cases. If I want to run them, I will just run them. You see how what's happening. So if I go and run them, they will run in parallel, but in a different thread. So run test, I'm in the run test, I'm using test ng. Okay, and test ng runs these two test case as a separate thread. So all the logs and report, everything is happening within the same different threads. So they're not running in a same thread, they're running in different threads. And then all the logs and everything will also appear in the console like this. And if I go and open my log files, if I go open my log file, this one, this log file contains the logs of both the executions. Okay, but in my
Hmm.
report it's very distinct. If I go in my report, which is this one, I open my HTML report here, open in browser Chrome, and this is my report. Oops, where it go? This one. Okay, so here I have two separate scenarios running, and I have captured, my framework has captured the logs and reports and screenshots separately. Okay, this is search for products. This is search for, okay, actually scenario name is same. I should have changed that. So this is one product, this is second test case, but I'm doing two different things here. So name appears same because I made that mistake, but these are two different test cases doing two different things. This one is for this one, and that one is other. So don't get confused. Even if they are appear to run in parallel, which they are actually, but they are running in a two separate threads, and all the logs and reports and everything is happening separately. They are not connected.
Okay, okay.
Make sense, right?
Yeah. I will listen last session, so I will go through that. Where
Okay.
you have
Um,
implemented this.
yeah. I mean, try it out because this is a bit confusing. Like when things are running in parallel, uh, why they are not there is no interference between these two. They're running in a separate thread. They're running as a one process but different threads, and this is achieved by testng. So this testng cucumber integration makes sure that whatever scenario which you are running in parallel, they don't share any resource to
Okay.
create a
Can we
clash.
implement same in TDD as well, right?
Sorry, what?
Without Cucumber.
Without Cucumber also you can do, because this feature is given to you by TestNG, not Cucumber. Cucumber cannot run anything in parallel. TestNG can.
Yeah.
So I'm using TestNG with Cucumber so that we can do this parallel execution. This can also be done using JUnit, but JUnit don't have the capability to run two separate scenarios parallelly. It can run multiple feature files in parallel, but not scenarios. Only TestNG at this moment provides this feature of running different scenarios parallelly, and this is very easily done by this TestNG Cucumber integration. And if you notice, I have this special library also. So I have TestNG, yes, but I also have Cucumber TestNG binding, and these two are important to achieve this. Once you have these two dependencies, you will get this capability, and then you have to have this runner file with extension as abstract test ng cucumber test, and you do this as data provider parallel is equal to true, and this just works out of the box.
Oh, is that Cucumber test engine is mandatory in TDD framework as well?
No, it's not mandatory. It's the best which we have, which you can use to write or run your test case in parallel. If you don't use this, fine, you can still do that. You can use it with JUnit or no framework at all with plain vanilla Cucumber CLI, but it will not be very efficient. So right now, what
Okay.
I'm showing you is the efficient framework possible with Cucumber and TestNG.
Okay.
So it's really good combination in my opinion.
Akash, for running multiple
Mhm.
features parallelly. So what are the changes required?
Uh, Running multiple features, not the scenarios parallel, is it?
Yeah.
That also you can configure using TestNG. So if you
Okay.
don't want to use TestNG, then you can use simple JUnit. JUnit can out of the box run feature files in parallel. For that, you need
Okay.
to do something in the pom.xml file. Rather, I will, since you guys are asking this, I will add this topic to cover. Huh? So I will
Okay.
add this here. Running feature files in parallel, not scenarios. JUnit test and G comparison, something like that. Okay.
Okay.
So I will cover that. By the way, I have certain videos on this also earlier, which I've created, but yeah, I'll do this again.
Akash, how
Okay.
many sections have
Yeah.
you previously on this framework development?
I don't remember. I think there's 6, 7 videos I've created with this series. There are previous also, but around 5, 6 I've done already. So there's a playlist I will send in the group. The playlist is all 7 videos are there. Few of the videos I'm going bit here and there because this I'm not going very in a very structured way. My focus was the framework and covering the important high level concepts. So I'm not sure if I have explained this part well enough, but yeah, let's you can go through those videos, like 5, 6 videos I have before this one.
Okay.
But you just watch it. If you don't understand something, you bring it in. I'll talk about it again because it's a repetition which makes sense. Huh? Repetition of the concepts again and again can materialize in your head and you can remember the concept. So it's better. Repetition is good. Basically, I can cover those topics again if you don't understood. You couldn't understand it.
Sure, Akash.
Okay. Okay, guys. So we'll end the call here. Catch up again next week, and I'll cover a few more topics. And it's important if you're doing something you're not getting it, please post in the group or create the question in the forum so that we can communicate. Within the weekdays itself.
Sure.
Okay, cool. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Akash.